Greetings, Earthlings. I am Mechanical Alien here, and this is my 1 pound BattleBot.
So here it is, the new and improved 1 pound BattleBot. As you can see, this BattleBot is not finished just yet, but I have made quite a few improvements on it since the previous video. In the previous video, I was using the 62-gram pine frame to hold the robot together. I'm now just using one back piece and two front corner pieces that come in at 20 grams, 40 grams less than the old frame, and the robot is still plenty strong enough. Another difference in the BattleBot chassis themselves are the sides. If you look at the old chassis, I have the sides tapered in, so if it gets flipped up on its side, it can roll to its top and flip itself back over. Whereas on the new robot, the sides are perfectly square. But since I have a heavy servo on top of the robot will still be able to roll over. Speaking of the servo, this is a high torque servo that I got at my local hobby shop. I was originally planning on putting the servo inside the robot, but I eventually decided against that because I would have had to make the robot itself a decent amount larger and it would have added unnecessary weight. And so as a result of the robot being smaller, I didn't have to cut any of the holes in the armor to save weight, making the robot itself a lot stronger. And lastly, before we move on to a different part of the robot, I just want to say that no, I don't have a flipper on my lifting arm just yet, but I do have about 100 grams of weight set aside that I can use to build it with. So now let's look inside. The inside of the robot is extremely simple, but obviously the simpler it is, the less you have that can go wrong. So to start with, we have these two yellow things, which are of course my drive motors. What it is it's a small DC motor that I think takes 4 to 6 volts to operate it. It's run through a gearbox to the motor shaft itself. And I really like the gear ratio they have set up in these. You have a decent amount of torque, but at the same time your robot can still move. You're not driving around at a turtle speed. Next, as you can see, we have our battery pack, and I'm just using 4 AAAs on it. Of course, the robot cannot last very long off just 4 AAAs, but hopefully it'll last long enough to survive the duration of its fights. I don't know just yet, I haven't had time to extensively test it. After that, we then of course have our receiver, which has sadly recently bit the dust. So unfortunately, as a result of that, we will not be able to have a full systems test in this video. And that is everything that's going to be inside my BattleBot, except for the 2 tiny speed controllers, but both of them together should weigh no more than 16 grams. So now if we close it up, we can weigh it. And so the robot comes in at 355 grams. So that means that we have almost exactly 100 grams that we can use to build the front flipper / shield. 100 grams is a lot for a 450 gram robot, so Lord willing, we should be able to build quite the impressive shield for it. Now unfortunately, like I said earlier, we will not be able to test everything today since the receiver is not working, but I will be able to show you guys the drive motors in action. So here it is in reverse, forward, here's a can that weighs over a pound, and lastly, here's Batman. Oh my goodness, we've killed him. Oh my goodness, he's not dead. I wonder why he can't die. And there you have it, part 2 of my 1 pound BattleBot.
But hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and Lord willing, I'll abduct you. See you next Friday.
Thank you for watching, and please feel free to subscribe.